Some journeys take you to new places, others take you to new versions of yourself. When 18-year-old Madison Foster stepped off the plane in Manila for what she thought would be a pointless 2-week trip, she had no idea she was about to become someone her parents wouldn't recognize. This is the story of how the Philippines changed everything. Madison was everything her wealthy California parents had raised her to be: confident, ambitious, and completely disconnected from anything that didn't advance her Ivy League future. The Philippines wasn't on her radar. It wasn't on anyone's radar in her social circle, but sometimes the places we resist visiting become the places that save us. This is how it happened. Before we go further, like this video if you believe travel changes people. Hit subscribe because this transformation story will challenge how you see privilege and purpose. Share with someone who needs to hear this, and drop Pinoy in the comments if you're proud of Filipino culture's power to transform lives. Now, let's begin. Madison Foster turned 18 in a $5 million home in Palo Alto, California. Her birthday party had a professional event planner, a DJ who'd worked Coachella, and 200 guests who posted everything on Instagram. Her parents, tech executives, had given her a new Mercedes. Madison thanked them, then asked when she could trade it for a Tesla. That was Madison, never satisfied, always wanting more. Her college acceptance letters arrived in March. Stanford, Yale, Princeton. Madison chose Stanford because it was closest to home and her boyfriend attended there. Her parents celebrated with champagne. Madison celebrated by booking a summer trip to Paris with friends. Then her mother, Catherine Foster, made an announcement that changed everything. "We're going to the Philippines first, as a family, for 2 weeks, non-negotiable." Madison's reaction was immediate and loud. "The Philippines? Why would we go there? Nobody goes there for vacation. That's not even on the travel influencer lists." Catherine's response was calm but final. "Your grandmother was Filipino. She died before you were born. I want you to see where she came from. We leave in June." Madison tried negotiating, bargaining, refusing. Nothing worked. Madison spent the next 2 months complaining to everyone who would listen. Her friends thought it was hilarious. "You're going to Manila instead of Paris? That's so random." Her boyfriend suggested she just refuse to go, but Catherine had made it clear: Philippines trip first or no Paris later. Madison packed with resentment, bringing designer clothes completely inappropriate for tropical humidity. She was determined to hate every minute. The flight landed at Ninoy Aquino International Airport on a Tuesday morning. Madison stepped into Manila's heat and immediately regretted her outfit choice: designer jeans and a cashmere sweater. The humidity hit like a wall. Her first words on Philippine soil: "This is miserable. How long until we leave?" Catherine didn't respond. She was looking at the city differently, like she was finally coming home. They drove through Manila traffic to Quezon City, where Catherine's cousin Maria lived. Maria was 58, a retired teacher who'd spent 40 years in public schools. Her apartment was modest: 3 rooms, simple furniture, but spotlessly clean and filled with family photos. Maria greeted them with tears and tight hugs. Madison stood awkwardly, unsure how to respond to this stranger's overwhelming affection. Culture shock had already begun. That first dinner was adobo, rice, and lumpia, made by Maria's own hands. Madison had never eaten Filipino food. Catherine had never cooked it, wanting to assimilate completely into American life. Madison picked at her plate, saying it was too salty, too different. Maria smiled patiently and said, "That's okay, anak. You'll learn." Madison didn't know anak meant child. She didn't ask. She just wanted this trip to end. Day 3, Maria took them to Tondo, one of Manila's poorest districts. Madison had never seen poverty like this. Houses built from scrap metal, children playing in flooded streets, families living in spaces smaller than her bedroom's walk-in closet. Her first instinct was to take photos for Instagram. Maria gently stopped her. "These are people, not a poverty tour. Show respect." Madison put her phone away, face burning with shame. They visited a community center where Maria had volunteered for 30 years. Inside, a group of young adults, ages 18 to 25, were taking free computer classes. The center had 6 old computers, donated and refurbished. These students were learning skills that could change their employment prospects. One young woman, Clara, age 19, was teaching herself graphic design on a computer older than she was. Her determination was visible in every focused movement. Madison watched Clara work for an hour. Clara's mouse kept sticking. Her keyboard was missing 3 keys. She worked around both problems without complaining. When Madison finally spoke, she asked, "Why don't you just get a new computer?" Clara looked up, smiled, and said, "This one works. I don't need new, I need knowledge. The computer is just a tool." Something shifted in Madison's chest. She didn't know what yet. That night, Madison couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about Clara and the broken keyboard. Madison had 3 laptops at home, a MacBook Pro, a gaming laptop, and an iPad Pro she barely used. She'd complained last month that her MacBook was too slow, even though it was only 2 years old. Clara was building a future on a decade-old donated machine and never once complained about the tools, only focused on the work. Day 5, Maria took them to a palenque, a traditional market. The sensory overload was immediate. Vendors calling out prices, fresh fish on ice, tropical fruits Madison couldn't name, the smell of street food frying in massive woks. Maria haggled with vendors in rapid Tagalog, laughing and negotiating with an ease Madison had never seen in her mother's American cousin. This was Maria's world, and she moved through it like royalty. A vendor gave Maria extra mangoes for the beautiful American apo. Maria explained, "Apo means grandchild. She's giving you a gift." Madison started to take them without responding. Maria stopped her. "What do you say?" Madison, embarrassed, turned back. "Thank you. Salamat." The vendor's face lit up. "Maganda, you speak Tagalog." Madison had learned one word. The woman treated her like she'd given a treasure. Kindness here operated on different rules. They ate lunch at a carinderia, a small, humble eatery with plastic chairs and food displayed in aluminum trays. Madison ordered sisig because Maria recommended it. When it arrived, she hesitated. It looked nothing like food she knew. Then she tasted it. The explosion of flavor, savory, tangy, perfect with rice, made her close her eyes. "This is incredible," she whispered. Maria smiled. "Your grandmother made the best sisig in Pampanga. This reminds me of her." That evening, Catherine finally told Madison about her mother, Madison's grandmother, Lola Rosa. Rosa had been a nurse in Manila before immigrating to California in the 1970s. She'd worked night shifts at a Los Angeles hospital for 30 years, sending money back to family in the Philippines every month. She died when Catherine was 25 before Madison was born. Catherine had spent decades trying to forget her Filipino roots, thinking American meant leaving the past behind. Madison asked why Catherine never talked about Lola Rosa. Catherine's eyes filled. "I was ashamed. I wanted to fit in. I changed my name from Catalina to Catherine. I never taught you Tagalog. I erased your grandmother's culture because I thought American success meant becoming completely American. Coming back here, seeing Maria, meeting these people, I realize I erased part of you too. I'm sorry." Madison cried with her mother for the first time in years. Week 2, Maria invited Madison to volunteer at the community center. Clara, the graphic design student, was creating flyers for a youth literacy program. Madison, who'd taken advanced digital design classes at her private high school, offered to help. Clara handed her the ancient computer. Madison sat down, navigated the outdated software, and worked alongside Clara for 6 hours. They barely spoke. The work created a language they both understood. Creation, purpose, building something together. During lunch break, Clara asked Madison about America. "Is everyone rich there?" Madison paused. "No, but I grew up rich. I didn't appreciate it until now." Clara nodded thoughtfully. "Money is a tool, like this computer. What matters is what you build with it. You could build nothing and waste it. Or you could build something that helps people. That's the real choice, yes?" Madison had never heard wealth described that way. It changed something fundamental. That weekend, Maria took them to Pampanga, Lola Rosa's home province. They visited the small house where Rosa had grown up, now occupied by distant cousins Madison had never known existed. The house had no air conditioning, 1 bathroom, and housed 7 people. They welcomed Catherine and Madison like returning royalty, serving a feast they'd clearly spent days preparing. Madison understood. This meal represented sacrifice. She ate everything, slowly, gratefully, tasting every bite like it mattered. The cousins showed Madison photos of Lola Rosa as a young nurse, proud, strong, wearing her uniform like armor. They told stories, how Rosa had paid for 3 cousins' college educations, how she'd sent money for medical emergencies, how she'd never missed a birthday or graduation despite being 8,000 miles away. Rosa had lived modestly in America so family in the Philippines could live better. Madison realized her college fund existed because Lola Rosa had sacrificed. On the flight home, Madison was quiet for 7 hours. Her parents thought she was sleeping. She was thinking about Clara and the broken keyboard, about vendors giving free mangoes to strangers, about Lola Rosa sending money home for 40 years, about cousins who'd spent days preparing a feast for relatives they'd never met, about what it meant to have resources and what responsibility came with them, about what she wanted to build with her one life. Madison started Stanford that fall, but everything had changed. She'd planned to study business and join a tech startup. Instead, she declared a double major, international development and Tagalog language. Her friends thought she'd lost her mind. "You're at Stanford to make money, not learn Tagalog." Madison's response: "I'm at Stanford because my grandmother sacrificed everything. I'm learning Tagalog because I erased half of who I am. I'm fixing that." Her friends didn't understand. She didn't need them to. She joined the Filipino Student Association, started cooking adobo in her dorm using recipes Maria had written out by hand, attended Tagalog conversation hours every week, struggling through basic sentences while heritage speakers laughed with her, not at her. She video called Clara in Manila twice a month, helping with design projects remotely. She changed her Instagram from fashion posts to cultural education posts, lost 5,000 followers, gained a purpose, considered it a fair trade. Her parents noticed the change. Catherine told friends, "It's like we sent one daughter to the Philippines and a completely different person came back." Her father initially worried, "What about her career prospects? International development doesn't pay Silicon Valley salaries." Catherine's response surprised him. "She's becoming who my mother always hoped I'd be. I'm not stopping her." Madison overheard this conversation, cried, called her mother, said thank you. Really meant it for the first time. Sophomore year, Madison proposed a project for her international development class. Create a nonprofit sending refurbished computers to community centers in the Philippines. Her professor loved it. Madison spent 6 months building the organization, securing donations, partnering with tech companies for equipment, coordinating with centers in Manila, Cebu, and Davao. Maria became the Philippine coordinator. Clara became the first youth trainer. Within a year, they'd sent 200 computers to 5 centers. Madison named the nonprofit Rosa's Legacy. Her Stanford peers started paying attention. The girl who'd arrived as a typical wealthy student had built an actual functioning nonprofit as a sophomore. Forbes featured Rosa's Legacy in their 30 under 30 social impact list when Madison turned 21. Reporters asked about her inspiration. Madison always said the same thing. "My grandmother was Filipino. I forgot that for 18 years. The Philippines reminded me. I'm spending the rest of my life making sure I never forget again." Junior year, Madison returned to Manila for summer break. Clara met her at the airport with a sign reading, "Welcome home, 8 Madison." 8, older sister. Madison cried at arrivals. Maria hosted a celebration dinner. The community center had a banner. "Thank you, Rosa's Legacy." Students Madison had never met thanked her for computers that had changed their lives. One young man, now employed as a web designer, said, "Because of you, I can feed my family." Madison understood. This was what wealth was supposed to do. Madison graduated Stanford at 22. Her parents attended. So did Maria, flown in from Manila, her first trip to America. Catherine cried through the entire ceremony. Madison's speech as student speaker mentioned Lola Rosa by name, thanking a grandmother she'd never met for building the foundation Madison was standing on. After graduation, Madison turned down 6 six-figure job offers from tech companies. She had different plans that didn't involve Silicon Valley at all. She moved to Manila, not for vacation, permanently, rented a modest apartment in Quezon City, 15 minutes from Maria's place. Her parents were shocked but supportive. Her father asked, "Are you sure about this?" Madison's answer was immediate. "I've never been more sure of anything in my life. This is where I'm supposed to be. This is where I can actually help. America doesn't need me. Rosa's legacy needs me. This community needs me. I need this." 5 years later, Rosa's legacy operates in 20 cities across the Philippines. They provided 3,000 computers, trained 8,000 students, and helped 1,500 young Filipinos find employment in tech fields. Clara runs the Manila office. Madison runs strategy from Quezon City. She speaks fluent Tagalog now, cooks better adobo than Maria. Married a Filipino software engineer she met through the nonprofit. Her parents visit twice a year. Catherine finally learned to cook her mother's recipes. Healing takes time. Madison's old Stanford friends sometimes ask if she regrets giving up the tech career, the Silicon Valley salary, the California lifestyle. She tells them about students who've graduated from computer training and now support entire families. About communities transformed by access to technology. About finding the other half of her identity. About honoring a grandmother who'd sacrificed everything. "Do I regret it?" she asks. "I regret the 18 years I wasted not knowing who I was. I don't regret a single day since." This story isn't about a spoiled girl who went to the Philippines and became a saint. It's about someone who'd inherited privilege without understanding its weight, its responsibility, its potential. The Philippines didn't change Madison. It revealed who she'd been beneath the designer clothes and Instagram filters all along. It showed her that wealth without purpose is just numbers in an account. That heritage isn't something to erase, it's something to reclaim. That the most valuable things you can build aren't tech companies or investment portfolios. They're bridges between who you were and who you're meant to become. Madison's parents sent their daughter to the Philippines thinking it was just a family trip. She came back knowing it was a homecoming. Sometimes the journey you resist becomes the journey that saves you, and sometimes finding half of yourself you didn't know existed means finally becoming whole.